In the vibrant, jazz-filled heart of New Orleans' French Quarter, amid the laughter of tourists and the aroma of Creole cuisine, stands a house with a haunting secret. The LaLaurie Mansion, with its elegant balconies and timeless charm, could be mistaken for just another relic of Southern splendor. But behind those iron gates and shuttered windows lies one of the darkest chapters in American haunted history. Once home to the notorious Madame Delphine LaLaurie, this mansion hides a legacy soaked in fear and cruelty. In the 1830s, rumors began to spread of chained slaves, screams in the night, and unspeakable tortures hidden behind grand walls. What authorities discovered one fateful day shocked even the most hardened of New Orleans citizens and birthed a legend that would never die. Today, ghost hunters, skeptics, and thrill seekers all come here drawn by the same chilling question: can a house truly hold on to pain? Whispers of footsteps, phantom cries, and cold touches in the night suggest that something or someone still lingers. Welcome to one of the most haunted homes in America. This is the terrifying legacy of the LaLaurie Mansion. Delphine LaLaurie was the epitome of Southern aristocracy, graceful, educated, and born into one of Louisiana's most prominent Creole families in 1787. Her life seemed woven from the fabric of privilege. Through her marriages first to a high-ranking officer, then a wealthy businessman, and finally to Dr. Leonard Louis Nicholas LaLaurie, she secured her place among New Orleans' elite. Her third marriage gave her not only the LaLaurie name, but also the opulent mansion at 1140 Royal Street. To the outside world, Madame LaLaurie was the perfect hostess. Her grand salons were filled with the city's most influential figures. Guests praised her refinement, her charm, and her impeccable taste. Yet, hidden behind the walls of her elegant home was a reality so horrifying it would haunt the city forever. Neighbors began to whisper about strange noises, screams at night, fleeting shadows in the courtyard, and the sudden disappearance of slaves. But it wasn't until a fire broke out in the mansion in 1834 that the truth came to light. Firefighters forced their way into the locked attic and discovered a chamber of horrors: emaciated slaves, bound, tortured, and left to suffer in silence. The revelation shocked even the hardened citizens of New Orleans. Madame LaLaurie's mask of civility was shattered, revealing a monster beneath the silk and lace. She fled the city, never to face justice. But the house she left behind still bears the scars of her cruelty, echoing with the cries of those who suffered within. On April 10, 1834, a fire broke out in the mansion's kitchen. When authorities and neighbors arrived to help, they discovered more than just smoke and flames. Hidden behind a locked attic door, they found what one witness called a torture chamber. Inside were enslaved men and women in various states of suffering and mutilation. Some were shackled to the walls. Others bore signs of grotesque surgical experimentation. Reports from the time, though often exaggerated, told of bodies with broken limbs set at odd angles, victims with holes in their skulls, and even some with internal organs removed or repositioned. One of the enslaved women who had been rescued from the fire later confessed that she had intentionally set the blaze in an attempt to escape the brutal conditions. The public was horrified. A furious mob stormed the mansion, smashing windows and ransacking the place. However, Madame LaLaurie escaped the city, fleeing to France, where she is believed to have died in 1849. Since that day, the LaLaurie Mansion has become synonymous with horror. Locals whispered that the screams of Madame LaLaurie's victims could still be heard at night. Shadows flitted across windows with no one inside. New owners and tenants, many unaware of the building's past, reported unexplained injuries, cries in the darkness, and ghostly apparitions. Over the years, the mansion has served various purposes. It was a girls' school, a music conservatory, a private residence, and even low-income apartments. In each incarnation, tales of supernatural activity followed. Students claimed to see women weeping in the corners of empty rooms. Tenants heard chains dragging across the floor or felt cold hands brush their skin. The LaLaurie Mansion's legacy of terror did not end with Madame LaLaurie's flight from justice. It only deepened with time. Many believe that the agony endured within its walls left an indelible spiritual scar, turning the mansion into one of the most haunted locations in America. The tortured souls of enslaved people are said to still wander the house. Visitors and paranormal investigators often report fleeting glimpses of shackled figures reflected in mirrors, appearing on staircases, or pacing in silent anguish through the upper floors. A heavy, oppressive atmosphere lingers, as if the walls themselves remember the suffering they witnessed. One of the most chilling tales is that of Lee, the screaming girl. Legend says she was a young enslaved child who, while fleeing from one of Madame LaLaurie's brutal punishments, plunged to her death from the rooftop. On quiet nights, her cries are said to echo eerily through the courtyard, sending shivers down the spines of those who dare to listen. Equally unsettling is the presence of the phantom doctor believed to be the spirit of Dr. LaLaurie. Some claim to have seen a ghostly man in 19th century garb roaming the halls, trapped in eternal unrest, either oblivious to his death or condemned to haunt the site of his complicity. Adding to the terror are reports of classic poltergeist activity, doors slamming on their own, furniture shifting without cause, cold spots, and faint whispers in empty rooms unexplained, unnerving, and unforgettable. In 2007, actor Nicolas Cage purchased the LaLaurie Mansion, reportedly unaware of its gruesome past. He later called it the most haunted house in America. While Cage never lived there full-time, he claimed to feel uneasy and disturbed during his visits. The property was eventually foreclosed during his financial troubles and sold in 2009. Interestingly, Cage has said he purchased the house as part of his desire to write the great American horror novel. Whether coincidence or consequence, owning the LaLaurie Mansion did seem to coincide with a downturn in his fortunes, leading some to believe the property carries a curse. As with many haunted sites, the stories surrounding the LaLaurie Mansion have grown over time. 19th century newspapers likely exaggerated some of the horrors, and modern retellings often lean heavily on shock value. That said, historical records confirm the fire, the discovery of mutilated enslaved individuals, and the flight of Madame LaLaurie. What remains less clear is the exact number of victims and the extent of their suffering. Still, whether some tales have been embellished or not, the cruelty that occurred is undeniable, and for many, that's enough to believe that the souls of the wronged cannot find peace. The LaLaurie Mansion remains privately owned and is not open to the public. That hasn't stopped ghost tours from gathering nightly outside its gates, eager to share the terrifying history with wide-eyed tourists. Guides recount the atrocities, the restless spirits, and the lore that has given the mansion its sinister reputation. Despite its closed doors, paranormal investigators and psychics claim the spiritual energy around the building is palpable. Some have described an overwhelming sense of dread while standing near it. Others have picked up anomalous readings or captured orbs and mysterious figures on camera. The horrors of the LaLaurie Mansion have inspired numerous works of fiction. Perhaps most famously, Madame LaLaurie was portrayed by Kathy Bates in American Horror Story, Coven, a depiction that, while sensationalized, introduced a new generation to the chilling legacy of Delphine LaLaurie. Books, podcasts, documentaries, and horror films have all drawn from the mansion's history, reinforcing its status as a cornerstone of American haunted folklore. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, the LaLaurie Mansion serves as a grim reminder of the inhumanity of slavery and the dangers of unchecked power. For the city of New Orleans, a place already steeped in mysticism, voodoo, and ghost stories, the mansion stands out as a real-life horror story that rivals any fictional tale. In a city known for its vibrant culture, music, and cuisine, the LaLaurie Mansion is a cold shadow lurking in the corner, a place where luxury once masked evil, and where the cries of the forgotten may still echo in the night. The LaLaurie Mansion is more than just bricks and mortar. It is a haunting monument to the darkest corners of human nature. Beneath its ornate balconies and French Quarter charm lies a legacy stained by suffering. It is a place where echoes of the past refuse to be silenced, where history lingers not in books, but in whispers, cold drafts, and shadowy apparitions. For some, the mansion is a captivating mystery, a challenge to the skeptic, a thrill for the ghost hunter. But for others, it remains a deeply painful reminder of a time when unimaginable cruelty was hidden behind wealth and respectability. Every creaking floorboard, every flicker of light, seems to carry a story, one of injustice, endurance, and unrest. Some buildings carry memory like a scar. The LaLaurie Mansion wears its history like a wound that refuses to heal. Whether you see it as a chilling piece of haunted lore or a solemn symbol of a tragic past, one thing is certain: the LaLaurie Mansion is not easily forgotten. Its story continues to fascinate, disturb, and provoke, forcing us to remember, to question, and to feel. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of America's most haunted and heartbreaking landmarks. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into history's darkest mysteries and ghostly legends. Until next time, stay curious and tread carefully where the past still walks.